Hi. Hi, Jerry.
I'm calling from Alaska.
Oh, I'm calling from Encino or Los Angeles area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if I had the times right, but I think I do.
Oh. Yeah, are we the first one?
Hello.
Wow. Hello.
Hi, how are you? Is that Lisa?
Yes, it is. Hi.
Well, welcome, dear.
Thank you.
And did I hear the other one is Jerry? From
Yes. From Alaska, from Juneau, Alaska.
You must know Sushma Harimander.
Yes, I do.
You're lucky.
She's. Oh, yeah. Yeah, she's the one who's, I've attended these teleconferences kind of sporadically in the past, but she's always encouraged me. So.
Oh, good. Wonderful. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
And who else is here? Who else is here?
Aloha. From Clearwater.
Okay, I got it. We got Padam Dian, also from Encino, and we got Sundry from Clearwater. Is that right? Florida?
Yes. Yep.
Oh, welcome. And who else is here?
Guru Rafi.
Hi, sweetie. Glad to have you. From Dallas, Texas.
Yes.
Isn't that Big D? Isn't that what they call
it? Big D, that's right.
Welcome. Who else is here?
Ranjit.
Harinder.
Okay, we got Ranjit from, are you from Connecticut?
I am.
Okay. And we got Harinder from New Jersey. Welcome.
Thank you.
Harinder, how's your wrist? Your hand?
Coming along.
Takes a while, huh?
It takes a while. This is an 8 weeks process, but it's better. The pain is better.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that.
Yes.
I'm very glad to hear that.
Thank you.
Now, who else is here?
Sadanam.
Hi, Sadanam. How are you doing?
I'm doing well this week, so.
Oh, good. I'm glad to hear it. So, Sadanam is also from Southern California. Welcome. And who else?
Harimander.
Hi, Harimander from Juneau. Your friend Jerry is here. Did you know that?
Oh, good.
Hey, good morning from.
Good morning, Jerry. And it's snowing in Juneau.
Oh, okay. I wonder if it's going to snow like it did in Connecticut. Oh, my God, that was something. No. And so who else is here?
Carol is here.
Oh, Carol, also from Juneau. Welcome. The Juneau contingent. Great. And who else is here?
Cito.
Hi, Cito. How are you?
Good. How are you doing?
Good. Let's see. Okay, you haven't left for New Mexico yet, right?
No, I'll leave next Friday.
Okay. So I'm looking forward to the time we could meet up.
Okay.
So who else is here? I heard a lady's voice just a second ago. Anybody else? Who's here?
Guru Atma.
Hi, Guru Atma. How are you?
Good.
Good. Another one from Southern California. Good. Oh, by the way, Southern Cal folks, I am planning on coming back to Pasadena and West LA in early March.
Yay!
Yay! Sweet. Oh, so sweet. I haven't let anybody else know. You're the first ones.
Yeah, great. We'll see you then.
Yay! I'm looking forward. And who else is here? Bubba City-Tund is here. That's who's here. Okay, so why don't we just go ahead and get started? Okay, so please sit straight. And Jerry, this is the way we tune in for protection and guidance in a yogic way. Okay. Do you take Kundalini Yoga from Hari Munder?
I have. Yeah, and she's taught me this.
Fabulous. Okay, so we're all on board. Okay, so spine straight, palms together at the center of the chest. Long, deep breathing. And relax into your long, deep breathing. And really realize what you're doing here. You're tuning Ekonkar, the one, the total, the creator, creation. Oh, my God. And that is you. Okay? So inhale. Long deep breath. From the belly through the nose. From the belly through the nose. And now, on your exhale. Hello?
Yes.
Okay, we're doing heart breath now. Long deep breath. From the belly through the nose. And on the exhale, feel as though the air is coming out of your heart center, the middle of your chest. Keep up heart breath. Really feel that beauty. It's like a perfume. It's like a yummy breeze. Feel that coming through your heart, coming out of your heart on the exhale. And if you feel any difficulty, any stuckness or any pain, just keep doing heart breath until it clears up. Good. Really expand it now. Good. And now send it to everybody who is either on this call now or who will listen to this call later on by recording. Right. Keep up. Really feel it's like a ball of light that occurs among us. Really feel that. Know that. Accept it. It's important to accept it. As they say at the movies, suspend belief. Or suspend disbelief, excuse me. And just see what happens. Keep up your heart breath. And now please send your heart breath to this current administration, all levels of the administration, so that their hearts and minds may be cleared to finally take care of this country, the people of the country. Good. Keep it up. Keep it up. Allow that pure healing energy to move through all minds, all hearts. And don't let your mind invade by saying, well, who are we? We're just too small. No, you have an amazing effect, especially when combined as one. Remember, you were dealing with a God force. Let your own fears and disbelief, let them just drop, just be suspended for now. Good. And allow that intention to continue without stopping. We need every flow of heart breath. And inhale. And exhale. And breathe. Okay, Baba Siri-Gian is here. He says you may think it is your government which keeps you safe. He says, wrong. He says, it is not your government which keeps you safe. So I'm going, sir, well, why would we do heart breath for our government? He says, because they're people too. They do have a lot of influence and they do have a lot of sway, but mostly the reason why we do heart breath for the government, all branches, all levels, from everywhere from county right on up to the president and all branches. He says the reason why we do that is to clear the atmosphere. He says, yes, these wonderful people, we're going to call everybody a kind person, well-intentioned person. He says they may stick to very strong ideologies. They may not understand what it is to live in the pure creativity of soul that is opening their heart, their mind to things that they never even heard of before. He says that is absolute pure creativity. He says from the most sublime level. He says that is what you are aspiring to. Do you understand that? That is what true healing is about. And that is what all pure spiritual, what you call advancement, is about. He says it is resting, allowing that pure knowing, being, flowing of the God force coming through you. He says again, he says, let go of disbelief. He says that's going to keep you hindered. He says instead, relax so that you may experience it. He said, as Yogi Bhajan said about the former age, the Piscean age, that is 2,000 years that came before last, about 2 months ago, December 12th, that was a Piscean age. He said, in that age, first you believe and then you experience. He says you can see that in all churches, in all rigid beliefs. First you believe. You have to be convinced, and then you will believe it if you have been convinced enough, if you buy into it. Okay? That is really grounded in the culture. He says in this age, as Yogi Bhajan says, first you experience. First you experience, and then you believe. In other words, you have so many things, people, ideas competing for your mind, for your belief, for your money, for your camaraderie, to be on their team. He says what happens is it all begins to break down. It's like too much vying for your attention. Too many opportunities everywhere as they present themselves. He says now we are in the Aquarian age. He says, as I said, which fully began on December 12th of 2012, which is what? That is 2 months ago. No, December, January, February, maybe, is that right? 2 or 3 months ago. He says, now, he says you can only reach this level of experience as you let go of every other binding belief. He says, now he's not trying to brainwash you. No, because he doesn't want you to believe anything unless you first experience it. Do you understand? It means letting go of your tribal memories. He says you don't have to do it all at once. He says it would be too big a scary leap if you tried to do that. He is asking you to let go of all, he calls it Marshall syndromes. Sir, what's that? A Marshall syndrome is where you believe that war is absolutely necessary to keep and preserve. He says, now there are many shades to this. He's going to go on a little bit about the shades. He says there is the part that says, I must keep this because it is my tradition. It is who I am. It is who I know the world to be. Sir, can you give us an example? He says, yes. He says, now, wait a minute. He's not trying to deconvert you, but he is saying that religion, as taught, is a belief system that can be let go of so that you may experience it first rather than having to be led in by theory, by scary stories, by other enticements, by being part of the group. He says, God is present in you. He says, you are God. That's all it comes down to. He says you don't need rigmarole and big, big affiliations and big ideas. So, of course, we're asking about Sikhs. He says, yes, that's true with Sikhs too. He says, but what you are doing is you are letting go. This is a guidance in the yogic way. Let's just say the Yogi Bhajan way. He gave us clues. He gave us breadcrumbs for the path so that we may experience who we are, so that we may get small experiences along the way, whether that be of healing, whether that be of consciousness, whether that be of the flow, whether it be that we finally pay attention and stop revolting against the miracles that occur at every second in our lives. He says if you stay stuck in a certain conundrum or question, if you stay stuck in a certain, he calls it body armor, if you stay stuck in certain concepts which you defend to the death, even though you have not had the experience of them, if you do that, he says, God bless you. He says, it is, he says, I'm not telling you to make a lightning change. He says, I am asking you to open what he calls your doors of awareness so that you may not be resistant to what is happening, to the changes. He says, but rather to not disregard the experience of being present. Not disregard the rewards, the freedom of being in the flow of your own soul, your God self. He's asking you not to reject that you are actually the projection of God. God's not outside you. God is acting as you. He says, I don't care how puny you think your life is. I don't care how screwed up you think your life is. He says, you are the God. And it's just up for you to experience that and not throw away, not be scared of those experiences that tell you, that let you know, oh my God, this is what it's all about. Oh, okay. So now, so far, he's asking if anybody has any questions. Now, I've put everybody on mute, so we didn't have an echo. So, in order to talk, please press *6. Does anybody have any questions? Any questions?
Satnam, it's Paramdian.
Yes, dear.
Well, Paramdian being my new name, but my old name was more warrior-like, Ramdir Kaur. And I totally understand the shifting in consciousness, the need to believe differently. It's interesting, the idea that disbelief. I was in disbelief at some of the energy that was going on yesterday. But the question is a little bit more general. There's a lot of people on this call, if not everybody, who's somewhat empathic and energetically sensitive. And that fine balance between the...
Well, now, wait a minute. He's saying everybody is energetically sensitive in their own way.
Right.
He's just asking people to
exactly.
pay attention to
but
that.
What I'm saying is that what are the more appropriate steps now that we are trying to change that consciousness of... Because to defend yourself is almost the same as to attack somebody else. How to find that balance of protectiveness energetically without becoming defensive, how to fine-tune that.
Okay. He said that's a question I've been waiting for.
Oh, well, okay. You're welcome. That's the question I've been asking myself for a while.
Okay. So right now, he says having armies is still important. He says having armies to defend against armed takeover, that's still important, okay? He says, now, let's go into the other. Let's go to the personal realm. He says there are certain aspects here. He says police still need to be armed. Yes, okay. He's not getting into the gun debate, okay? But he's talking about the personal interaction level. He says on the personal interaction level, he says what happens usually is that we get our nose out of kilter. Okay, we feel like we've been punched in the gut or we've been punched in the nose by somebody, okay? He says usually what's happening at that time, we have a reaction. He says that reaction comes from fear. It comes from need for protection. It comes from judgment. Who do you think you are? and it comes from us feeling powerless. Do you understand? It comes from us feeling powerless.
Yes.
He says, now I want you to keep up with heart breath. Keep up with heart breath. That is long, deep breathing. On the exhale, feel as though the air is coming out of your heart center. Good. Now keep feeling this and allow yourself to relax in that. He says, I know this takes practice, but that's okay. You've got time. You can practice. Now, allow your mind to relax into that feeling of the heart breath. Allow your jumpy mind to relax into that experience of the heart breath. Do you see what happens when you do that? Do you see how you feel that you are covered?
Yes. I actually felt something kind of like a defense mechanism even prior to a language of defense or fear.
Mm-hmm.
It's like probably even in the womb, where I just started to defend, and defending ends up being as violent as attacking.
You mean fighting back?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay, good. So keep this up. What is happening is that your mind is relaxing into the experience of your soul. When you do this heart breath, you relax in it, you have the experience of your God self. Now, he's asking you, he's asking everybody to do this as a practice, okay? And it's like a dojo. It's like any kind of training. You just get better at it all the time. Okay, now when your mind is relaxed in your heart breath, do you feel a certain presence? Do you feel a grounded presence?
I feel it both grounded and expansive at the same time. And I have to admit, I haven't been able to 100% relax completely and trust it. I'm attempting to do that as we speak. Good.
Well, like you said, first comes experience,
right,
and then comes belief. So trusting and belief are really united. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So you do this over time, over days, weeks, years. Okay.
As I started to do it at Siri-Gian, I had this tickling of joy because this is kind of what I've been looking for, and it's like, yay, and so it feels like you jump into an ocean to do body surfing you haven't done in a while, and you have some fear, but at the same time you're excited to be there.
Very good. Yes, okay, keep up. Okay, so with this grounded expansion, stay there, be that. And then somebody comes and they challenge you, telling you some mean thing. Some mean thing. Now, the secret is, do you have the practice? Do you have the ability to stay in this condition of the mind relaxing in heart breath that gives you the groundedness and the expansion that is the experience of soul? Okay, again, someone comes and is mean to you or tries to steal from you or whatever. Usually what happens is we react to fight back because we know that we are not what they say or what they do. We know that. So our normal how can I say, our lizard brain reaction is to come out fighting, to defend. Okay, so Padam Diyam, what happens? What happens when you stay in this consciousness of soul, basically?
Well, I've had some small experience with that, so I can speak from experience as well as what I'm feeling right now. That it doesn't. It's like I'm Teflon. It doesn't touch me. I'm able to observe it and not feel I have to defend. It's like I said, I've had trickles of it. I haven't been able to consciously do this all the time, but the trickles have been teaching me. The moments have been teaching me, and what I feel a sense of compassion because I see the fear and the ungroundedness maybe in the other individual or situation, especially when you're outside, like drivers and people screaming or being rude to you at a Starbucks.
There you go.
I make it be very kind because I'm not attaching. The thing is to take that practice into the more personal relationships, the ones that are, I tend to be more sensitive about.
And which are more ingrained.
Exactly. I have to develop the spiritual musculature to deal with family.
There you go. There you go. Again, suspending disbelief.
Right.
That this is actually the truth. When you are in this condition, you know yourself as soul. That, the Bible talks about this small, still voice, listening to the small, still voice inside. This is where it resides.
Right.
This is where you listen to it. This is a place of soul. Your God self. Can you imagine you have the opportunity to talk to God, to feel the God presence at every moment? Holy cow. We are not deserted here after all.
Right. I've always not always, but I think since I've been conscious on some level, I've always intuited that if I could just have that relationship, that access, no matter how much I get spun, my access in God and in the earth, that vertical, I call my vertical life in good condition, then the horizontal life won't spin me.
You got it. So now, when you know who you are, does everybody understand that? When you know who you are by this experience, by your practiced adherence of this experience of who you are, you know yourself as totally free, not abandoned, and there can be no challenge. There is no challenge, except if someone wants to shoot you or punch you. But even in that case, do you understand? Even in that case, you stay in your truth, and the direction on how to handle it will automatically, softly but powerfully come through you.
I totally believe that. I don't have to change my belief system for that. I totally believe that.
Right. And as we talked about before, that's what Aikido is all about.
Yes.
They don't mention soul and God and all that. It's a force. Okay?
It's a force.
This is it. Keep up the breath. There is no reason to judge the other person, to put the other person down. In other words, to go off kilter, to meet the other person on their grounds. No. There is only the call to stay in the experience of your own truth. As you do it, the most amazing things happen. And those of you who have been doing heart breath for a while understand and recognize this. That as you do heart breath, as you stand in that truth, this feeling of expansion, groundedness, is a cohesive energy. It draws you and your surroundings into this place of, you might call it light, openness, just total relax. You can call it truth, but usually when we say truth, we go, oh, I've got the truth. No. The truth is pure relaxation. And at the same time being totally grounded. That means having your energy moving into the earth. So you're not squashed or taken over. You stay in this calmness. Now, when you do your heart breath, usually the other person feels it. Usually the other person feels it, and what happens is things change. It has an effect on them. They may turn around and walk away. They may do something different. It's just remarkable while you watch this very subtle, very easy miracle of change happening in front of you. Do you see? Do you see how we mirror each other?
Yes.
So either we can allow, with our mind, go into fighting mind and engage the other person's fighting mind. And as was always said in Aikido, when you do that, the bigger guy wins. So what? Okay. When you are in this condition, even the smallest person wins. It's not really wins. Let's not call it a win. The one who is doing this heart breath, who knows, who relaxes their mind into this, feels the flow and moves from that flow. And others come to that flow because it is a feeling of love. And I'm going to tell you, who does not respond to that feeling of love? Do you understand?
Yes. Remember I had that evidence when I was flying back from South America, and I had that experience at the airport that I shared?
And tell us again.
Well, that it was a scary moment for many reasons. It was a very crowded room they put us in, and the flight was being delayed. I was nervous, not just because I like flights, but it was a long flight, and on top of that, I was coming back to the States without any knowing of how I was going to get started. I just got the ticket and the visa very quickly through a miracle, through the support of the Kundalini Yoga community, etc. And I had no idea what I was going to do next. I literally, excuse the French, but didn't have a pot to piss on or get started. And I was freaking out, and everybody's energy was freaking me out, and I just went into this heart breath, and it was not just a miracle in how the room changed, but I felt literally transported into the plane and into the United States, and everything went so smoothly and graceful. I was high. I was literally high from the experience.
Exactly. And I hear these stories over and over again. I'm going to tell you about, he says to tell you about the first time I gave heart breath.
Okay.
A lady came to me because her husband was yelling at her, and it made her upset. It made her very fearful. So I taught her heart breath. And then the next week when she came back, I said, how did it go? She said, well, I couldn't always remember because I got so scared. But when I could remember, he would yell, I would do heart breath. And then he would kind of shudder. And he'd stop yelling, but then he'd start again, but not as loud. And then I would do heart breath again. And then he would shudder and quit. And this kept up so that the sound stepped down over a little period of time. And then finally he just quit and walked away. And now they have a happy marriage. You understand?
Yes. In my case, I can't speak for anybody else. I think the most difficult part of heart breath has been remembering to use it because the simplicity is the human mind. The simplicity makes it sometimes I forget about it. I'll be honest about it.
Well, that's the reason we practice, right?
Yes.
So he is suggesting that you remember to do it 20 minutes a day.
Okay.
And then allow it to become the way you breathe. He says when you first become a yogi, it takes a while to sort of work out long, deep breath from the belly through the nose. He says, but then after a while it becomes your normal way of breathing.
Yes.
He says, do the same with heart breath. He says, your life will bring miracles. He says, when things challenge you, for instance, your whole fortune is lost, you have nowhere to go, the old ideas of being decrepit or unsuccessful or losing everything or poor me, he says all of those are terrific fuel for the fire of heart breath. He says you take your mind, your emotions, which had been taken over, and you put them into this beautiful pot of heart breath. He says use mantra as well. He's telling me again. Tell you my favorite mantra, Govindi Mukandi, Udari Apari Haring Karing Nirname Akame. And if you have a pencil there, write down this web address.
That's the first one I learned. The first CD and the first mantra I learned.
Perfect. Okay, so it's soulanther.com/Gobinde, GOBINDE.html. Now, this was given to us by the most fine spiritual warrior of all time, Guru Gobind Singh. Okay? He fought with swords, bows, and arrows, and I'm sure that they also had early rifles at that time. But it was not fought in anger. It was fought in God consciousness. Because the Muslims the emperor directed all the Muslims to kill anybody who would not convert to being Muslim. He says, but the point is that they defended in consciousness. I can't say that every member of the army did, but that's what it was about. Okay, keep up the breath. Do your heart breath. Remember, let experience guide you to your belief systems. Do not let the mind, with all the advertising and so on and cultural clues that it picks up, that will not support you. Only the experience of what works, what truly works, will support you in ways that you call miraculous. He says, but from my vantage point, it is the norm. He says, why keep yourself hidden from this miraculous norm? He says, try it, practice it. And if it works for you, keep it up. If it doesn't work for you, let it go. It's up to you. Truly, it's up to you. Okay. Now, Padam Dion, we really appreciate your being our, our devil's advocate, so to speak, through this. Now, let's ask anybody else if they have any questions or any comments or any experience, please, to share.
Siri-Gian?
Yes.
Rahmane here. Yeah.
Rahmane? Yes.
Yes. My question is, am I correct that Baba Siddhi Chand would include the so-called government, the structure of the Vatican in sending heart breath to people in political realms? And the reason that I bring this up is that the ex-pope has just he's resigning, and so what I felt as soon as he said send energy into the government at all levels, that immediately went into the church, which has been in bed with the government. So I just wanted to check that because I feel like it's really important for allowing this rebooting of Christianity, which is afoot amongst progressive theologians, to come from a place of heart breath rather than anything else.
He says He says, yes, my dear, every person who has any leadership, he's even talking about families, parents to their children. Yes, of course. The Catholic Church in Rome is a huge political investment, he calls it. He says, you may not find the switchover being immediate. He says, but please send heart breath, that they have a lot of, again, heavily invested tangles to take care of, so that the true light of that church may shine. The very, how can I say, they're very ancient, even to the present time. They have a lot of tangles. So every ounce of help you can give them with heart breath, he says, would be most heartfelt. Thank you. And he says that goes for anybody who has any sway with anybody else. We're asking that kind of sway, that the evolution of it may drop, so that each person allows guidance from this small, still voice, from the place of soul, from their true selves, that everybody allow that amalgam to occur. And another word for that is union, or yoga, or self-realization. He says that's where we're headed. But understand we are evolving, even though we're evolving quickly. So yes, please include anyone, anything that comes to your mind to send heart breath. You can only bring that evolving, cohesive energy to yourself first. Do you understand? To yourself first, and then allow the cosmos to do its work as you send heart breath, healing energy, to anywhere you intend. Does that answer you, dear?
Yes, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Now, anybody else?
This is Lisa in Encino.
Hi, dear.
Hi. I want to say that this is so validating in a sense, and I feel that I've kind of come to this realization on my own. I can relate to the story about the husband screaming, and sometimes even before, when I've been out at maybe some expanded spiritual event, and before I step back into my home, I'm projecting a little bit of like, oh, what am I going to be stepping into, and shutting down my heart. And then what happens when I come in, when my heart is shut down and I'm not in my heart breath or soul consciousness, that very experience that I'm projecting gets mirrored back to me, of...
Excellent point. You really magnetize it to yourself.
Absolutely. When I'm shut down and I'm bracing against the fight before it's even occurred, that's exactly what I manifest, what shows up.
Aren't you powerful?
Yeah, very. I'm realizing we create our realities in every single moment. Nothing's outside of ourselves. And then I've come to discover that my safety is in my heart breath and my soul consciousness. And when I'm connected to the truth, I'll just say the truth of who I am, this universal soul consciousness, anything can come up, anything at all, and nothing can waver that. So if my husband is in a fight, my kids are in a fight, if I'm really connected beforehand, it's all okay. I'm not going to get rattled off of that, and it's a pretty exquisite thing to kind of just keep breathing and keep loving, and then what do they find? The fight just dissolves. Yeah.
Fabulous. I'm so glad that you understand that experience, and I'm going to tell you a little secret. Okay. The mother is the center of the family. Now, this is not sexist, but you have just explained it. It's amazing that however the mother goes, the family goes. If the mother is going off and is getting crazy and blah, 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 you can be sure the whole family is going to be disjointed.
Wow.
If the mother stays in this consciousness, she is the hub of the family. Yogi Bhajan always called a woman the lotus or the flower that attracts with her fragrance. And the fragrance he's talking about is this feeling of expansion and groundedness that you just that Padam Dhyan just identified. If you stay in that, it cannot help but affect your family. Okay. Yes. Now I'm in saying that, I'm also going to say that if things do go wrong, you do not blame yourself, okay? Because everybody has their own karma, okay? Yes. But the general course of the family and the energy in the home follows that of the mother.
Yes.
It's really incentive to practice, isn't it?
It sure is, Siri-Gian. A complete incentive to remember that that's the utmost importance, to remain connected and open. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
This is Heart Breath Lisa now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Or I should say, who else can share? There is somebody.
Siri-Gian, it's Suzanne.
Hi, Suzanne.
Hi. I do use the heart breath during family discussions or when I think things are tense. In my mind, I'm asking for guidance. In my heart, I'm doing the breath, but I want to be guided to either shutting up or listening very mindfully, and I really rely on it. I just, when I know not what to do, that's what I'm doing.
There you go. Can you describe an experience of that?
Oh, Lord. Well, okay. It's an emotional one. My daughter fell apart about her wedding dress. She's getting married. And she's getting married, and she does not like the look of the wedding dress that she's picked.
Oh.
And she's upset, just upset. And I'm not listening enough. Of course, I have nothing to do but listen. But she was upset, so she was not in any way grounded. And so I simply was breathing, and in my mind, I think I think Baba Siri-Gian works through it because
he does.
It's beyond anything I can think. I just
all the saints and angels come through that channel when you do it. Go ahead.
Well, why would I try to compete with that? I just open it up.
Well put.
It's crazy. Yeah, and so I don't even look for an action or a response. I just hope that something will happen. And sure enough, I'm done talking. Left for 15, 20 minutes and came in and she goes, I'm just going to let it go. And I went, oh, my goodness gracious. I couldn't have done it myself. Yep. So, I know, it's a big one because she wanted her emotions to go through me, or she wanted to put it on me, or whatever that is. I didn't want to not hear her, to not feel like she was being listened to. That has to be just to feel validated that I'm mindfully listening to her.
Sure.
But I don't want to hold something that I don't feel. And I don't want to hold an inability to come to a solution. And so I find it a lifeline for me.
Okay. So this is one of the miracles that he's talking about. Make the miracles your norm. He says you never know what the outcome will be, but let it subtly, gracefully, lovingly occur, which is what you did.
Yeah, it's so reassuring to me, and then you don't wait just 20 minutes for heart breath. It's constant. It's a part of your day because it's a lifeline.
It is.
Yes.
It's a lifeline. It is your total life support.
Yeah.
And also, if you are always doing heart breath, you are less likely. If you're not doing your heart breath, you're likely to get ambushed. If you are doing your heart breath, consciously or unconsciously, that's not really such a possibility, is it? So
that you're saying if you're not doing it conscious, how did you say that?
Well, when I say not doing it consciously, what I mean is it's just part of your total normal practice. When I say not doing it consciously, but it's just happening.
Yeah.
Then if you were always in that, what we'll call grace, that space, then you are not really getting ambushed, right? Because you don't automatically hook into the other person's whatever it is. Do you understand?
Yes, it's almost like a light around you, like
that's right.
A buffer, yeah, like that. I sense that. But also for your own self, if you do need to hear something painful, or you do need it, maybe it's a personal coming back to you to listen up, and you hope that you're open enough to be aware that that's coming back to you for a reason.
Excellent. Either way, it's a gift. Whatever the person is giving you, it is a gift, because it enables you to go deeper, more humble into this connection with who you are, with your essence. Allowing those finer levels to operate in you and through you.
Yeah.
Good deal, girl.
Yeah. I'm very grateful for that.
Yes. I am too.
Right.
I'm grateful for it in you and in everybody and in me. It makes such a difference. So that we don't get our backs up, but we are present